February 6th to order with a roll call, please.
Dan McNally.
Brian Winslow.
Tom Chase.
Mike Moore.
Betty Smith.
Hal Kreider.
Ted Wilkinson.
Eric Buckland.
Brad Hall.
Mike Jobin.
Linda Smith.
Bob Young.
Beth Boudreau. And Ginger Dole.
Where did these go?
Excused absence is Betsy and Grace.
And I did just hear from Mr.
was gonna say,
McCaffrey via email.
I thought I saw Betsy.
He will not be in.
Okay, and Joe is excused as well. Okay, so the only thing we need to do tonight is review the 3 sets of minutes that you got in the mail. So you all would have received when you got here 2 pages. For those of you who had not had a chance to look through your minutes yet, you will discover that it's page 2 for the January 3rd minutes and page 2 for the January 10th minutes. They just missed getting stapled together. So we'll start with the January 3rd.
Motion to accept the minutes is
Second.
Okay, motion and second for January 3rd. I don't know how many have had a chance to review that page 2 that just got handed out, but in the meantime,
Have you?
take a minute to look at it. I'm sorry?
Did you get your copy earlier? Did you?
No, well, tonight, along with everybody else. Yep. I'm no different.
I was hoping we could.
Jeez, I thought you were special.
I think I'm special, and in my own world, that's all that matters, right?
I'll tell you a joke later.
Yeah, we'll move on. Yeah. Did anybody find anything on the pages you did review? Brad?
I think on January 3rd we're doing, right?
Correct.
Isn't the amount, the dollar amount, a little bit off on page 1?
On page 1.
The 4th line down, 5,975.
We need the extra 0 in
I
there.
think there should be
Good
Yeah,
notice.
for zero.
that
would
makes
make some
a
people
big
happy.
difference.
Good catch. Good catch.
Very good catch, because it slipped right by me. Do we have any other catches?
On the page 2, I'm just wondering, it says payment bond article will be submitted by Chief Droulet. Is that necessary to have in there? In other words, after Article 3, Northwood Safety Complex. I noticed that on a couple of sets of minutes.
I'm sorry, where
All right, if we go to Article 3, it says Northwood Safety Complex, and then there's a dash, it says payment bond article will be submitted by Chief Droulet.
Yeah, I think we can eliminate the will be submitted by Chief Droulet.
Yeah.
I think maybe what it was intended to say is payment bond amount.
Yeah.
Because he was receiving that number directly from
Right.
the,
Okay,
So this was when
From
that number
SMP.
was blank.
correct, and we got the number.
Yeah.
Because we had heard all of the explanation and discussion, and we were just waiting for the number at that point, so we didn't need to discuss anymore.
and maybe it should say will be provided. If it needs to be in there at all, it should probably be clear and say will be provided, not submitted,
Right.
provided by Chief Drolet when received from, is it SMP that was doing it or the other folks? Turnstone.
The reason why I'm suggesting that is that we already have the number in there. In that,
Yeah, I think if we just keep
Oh,
it
I
as payment
see what
bond
you're saying. I
article.
thought this was before.
It may have been, but somehow the number made its way in there.
No, we had the number on the
Okay,
3rd.
so this may have been left over.
That-
And I
right.
would suggest you
So I,
strike it.
yep, just take out will be submitted by Chief Drolet.
I would, okay, yep.
Also,
Shouldn't this reference that it's gonna be a bond?
Well, that's why I would recommend keeping in the payment bond article so that it does. Remember, we have to go by what was said during our meeting, not necessarily
What
the
we know
final
today.
verbiage that's on the warrant itself. But if we keep in the payment bond article, then looking back on these minutes, that will remind us that it's referring to the bond article. John?
just above that, 6 lines up from Article 3, it reads, consultant that the town will hire directly to do materials testing which are code required. It's not hire direct, which means that it's not going to be an expense that comes out of this pot. It's going to be hired by the town directly. Got it?
I'm trying to find it.
I know.
Up a little bit.
6 lines up
Somewhere in there.
from, thank you, Dan.
Right here.
Oh, I see it now. Okay. Thank you. Any others? Ted?
Yeah, a couple little picky ones, partly punctuation, and it doesn't really change the meaning. I'm looking 6 lines down from the top. There's a 5 and 6 there, an enumeration of the different parts of the plans. In section include all the architecture, structure, mechanics, electrical, plumbing. There needs to be a comma after plumbing. And mechanics, the typical term is mechanical or mechanicals, because that's like the
Right.
HVAC system and stuff.
Right.
Mechanics sounds like you're referring to people rather than. So it's a picky thing, but
That too.
if we're correcting.
Right.
Any others? Anything on page 3?
Actually, there is.
On
A
3?
little bit of confusion on December 12th, tabled until following meeting. It's a little bit unclear. It says, Mr. Young stated that it had been putting money into articles, and DRA said once they were voted for. The confusion of 2 things. The money that had changed were in articles that we voted upon. The 2 articles that were removed, one was an article that gave authority to borrow money, and the second one was an article to accept funds from outside sources, federal sources and so forth.
Right.
I did bring a copy of the original warrant so you can see the 2 that we were talking about. So it was not money issues as much as it was that they were articles that no longer needed to be voted upon, but there was no money involved.
But we did vote on,
We voted on others, but that was because the
Which-
numbers had changed.
right, so where it says, but the monetary amounts have decreased on 2 articles, so
Right.
they would need to be revoted.
That was correct.
Okay.
But it said they had been putting money into articles, and DRA said once they were voted for. So that's the parts that are a little confusing.
Okay, so we just need to add in that
Maybe
maybe just change, they
What-
removed 2 articles and put that at the beginning of where you said that, they removed 2 articles. Mr. Young stated that they've been putting money into articles. DRA said once voted, there's no need to continue voting.
Yes, it's the money into the articles that's incorrect.
What if you took those 3 words out and put, have been including articles?
That sounds fine.
Okay, so now that you guys know what sounds fine, can somebody reread it?
Because I'm confused.
Mr. Young stated that they have been including articles in DRA's, including articles on their warrant. And DRA said that once they are voted for, there is no need to continue voting again, rather than the money in.
Okay,
Or voting on them rather than the money in, because again, it's not, they're not.
Right, voting on
There's
them.
no money to speak of.
Right, voting on them.
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
They
That's,
removed the 2 articles, this changed the article numbers. Okay.
yep.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
Anything else on page 3 or going on to 4? Seeing nothing on 4. I'm guessing nobody has a problem with 5. Okay. Anybody think of anything else on January 3rd? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of January 3rd, which have been amended. All those in favor say aye.
All right.
Any opposed? Okay.
Abstaining.
Sorry?
I'm an abstention.
You sound like you're in the legislature. You don't sound like you feel well at all. Thank you for coming, though. Okay, January 9. We have a motion.
Motion to accept the minutes?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Anybody come up with anything?
Page 4, line 18. If it appears to be significant differences, and I think it should read, appears to be significantly different.
Or if there appears to be significant differences.
Okay, so I'm back on that fine line again between what was said,
Was said.
how it was said versus fixing somebody's grammar. If we're putting, if we're adding to it or whatever.
Well, it could be if there appear to be significant
If there
differences.
appear to be, okay.
That would be one way to stick
Yeah.
in the cat, and the other would be the other way.
Okay, that works. Ted?
Couple lines down, it's handy having line 20, right in the middle, after the comma. The town as grown, I think we need an
EH in
in front
there,
of the
yeah.
as.
Anything else?
Page 5, line 36. Prior stated that this is the money that they do receive,
Yep.
not the do receive.
Spell check wouldn't have caught either of those because they're real words.
Because they're real
Back
words.
in one letter.
And I can tell you, grammar check doesn't work at all. It's like autocorrect on your cell phone. Yeah, drives me nuts. Anything else, Brad?
Does Article 3 have the same problem that we had?
Yes. Yeah. Line 34.
Payment bond article be submitted by chief. Is that the same problem that we had on January 3rd? The wording on it?
What page are we on?
Four.
Oh, no, I was still
Article
looking at
3.
page 5.
Article 3, line
Right,
24.
we need to take the will be submitted by chief to write off
Amount.
of it. Any others?
Are we moving on to another page?
We can move to another page.
Okay, page 6, second line, the yet is redundant. You can strike the first yet or the second yet on line 2, but we don't need both.
That's true.
And then on line 26, if these passes, that clearly should be if this passes.
Others? Hal's just sitting here shaking his head.
I'm fine. I'm not a good proofreader, so.
Tom, do you have any others?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So nothing on page 7, 8, these were the long ones.
But I will say that I sent Sandy Garrett a note to ask, and I'm not sure if I can recreate it in the moment, but on Article 11, it says we're going to spend $18,500. It's going to have a tax impact of 3 cents. And then Article 15, we're going to spend $17,750 is going to have a tax impact of 4 cents. And how a smaller
Amount
of spending results in a larger tax, and I'm waiting for an answer to that question. It's not.
And at some point, we will get
Someday we'll get an answer.
Right. Anything else on January 9th? Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept the minutes of January 9th. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? And moving on to January 10th.
Motion to accept the minutes of January 10th.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any comments, corrections?
Yeah, page 2, line 11, just says, Mr. Winslow stated that review the goals of the strategic plan periodically as a school board. I think it's supposed to say, Mr. Winslow stated that the school board periodically reviews the goals, or something. It's just worded kind of strangely.
Yep.
Yeah, I see what you're
I
saying.
think my statement was,
I remember
the
that.
school board periodically reviews the goals
Right.
from the strategic
Yeah.
plan. So.
What line are we on, please?
Line 11 on page 2.
So if we just have the school board periodically reviews the goals of the strategic plan, the words are all there, just
Not the
changing
right
the-
order.
Just changing the order a little bit.
Pain in the ass.
And then, I don't know, line 12, I don't know if it's on the tape or not, but I don't remember saying a very detailed explanation. It's a little weird to see it there. But prepare an explanation, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know that you guys weren't talking about a detailed explanation, not at the last board meeting anyway.
Still on that line, for the deliberative session of where the public can see guidance from that document in the budget, should it be so the public can see guidance?
I think the way it's worded makes sense to me, because Jim was asking where in the budget can I find the evidence of the strategic plan.
Okay.
I think line 2 looks a little funny right at the beginning. He stated that that doesn't really make any sense. He stated that page 25 maybe
Strike that.
that he.
So take out the that, he.
Yeah, the he that is probably a little redundant.
Yeah.
I'm reading, I'm not looking. Does anyone else found anything yet? Speak up if you do while I'm still reading. So anything on page 1 or 2? Or 3? Or 4? Yes, Tom?
On line 20, we refer to Ms. Boudreau as a Selectman Boudreau. Do we have any ways in which we could refer to our female select board member that's not quite so sexist?
Select
Ms.
board
Smith?
representative.
Can you?
Well, I can tell you the answer to that is that the state of New Hampshire only has one word for the position. Until that changes, it
Is
is,
the position.
that is the title to the position.
Thank God.
I looked into that, people asked me
So,
a question when I was running.
but if we said select board member Boudreau
It's not a
abstained,
select
No,
board.
it's a
select
selectman.
man.
it's gotta be that way until
Yeah.
we change
Till
it.
the state changes.
Thanks, Linda.
When I was a selectman,
Call
I
somebody
insisted
up
on
and
being
have them
referred to
put
as
in
a
a bill.
selectman because
Let's get David
I didn't
Corson
feel
in this.
that what I was doing was any different than the gentleman that I was elected to work with. That's me. But I just asked Beth and she said, no, it's selectman,
It's a New
that's it.
England thing, that's how it is.
So you have to move away, Tom, if you want it to change.
No, I'm gonna, I've run for the legislature, I know how to make changes.
Well, here's a list. There you go.
My question though is, were they really gentlemen?
There's a question.
I'm sorry,
Yeah,
what?
that's a good question.
My question is, were they really gentlemen?
They were.
Okay.
The gentlemen that I worked with were in fact gentlemen. Yep.
Things have changed.
In many respects, they
Stay out of the
have.
politics, please.
Politics is a strange animal. Anything else on the minutes of the 10th? Okay? Seeing no hands, all those in favor of approving the minutes of the 10th as we've amended them, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Don't go away yet.
He has
Just
a
let you
shuffling
know.
of papers.
Don't go away yet. We're at the last meeting on the 10th, and you can see it right before Grace made the motion to adjourn. Tom stated that he'd like to thank the chair for everything that the chair did. And I was so flabbergasted that I didn't know what to say. And while I appreciate that, I do want to let the rest of the committee know the contributions that Betsy made to this committee as vice chair, and they were quite a few, especially during the time before I retired in August, because there were things that I just couldn't get to. And had I not been so flabbergasted by the attagirl that I got from Mr. Chick, not that because it came from Tom. However, we can explore that later.
Wow.
Tom and I, for those of you new to the committee, have had a running thing on, yeah, I'm going to mark my calendar on this one, and he'd mark his calendar on that one, and what have you. But I do want it in the record that Betsy made valuable, actually invaluable contributions. You notice tonight I was putting out nameplates because she wasn't here to do that, and that was something that she always did. So I would just like it in the record that we all appreciated everything that she did as well. And who knows, maybe she'll come back. That being said, our next meeting, for those of us, and I believe everybody is going to be back, because we don't have enough people running to not all be back, is April 16th. So mark your calendars accordingly. 7 o'clock. For those of us that are
Did you say 7 o'clock?
7, yep. Meetings are usually start at 7 unless extenuating
Well, I thought I heard
circumstances.
6, that's why I asked.
I could have said that.
No,
I'm tired enough, I could have said that, Brad.
no, it's not you, it's me.
Okay. Yeah, that'll be our reorganization meeting. So we need to have everybody here if it's all possible. And we do have 4 vacancies still. So if, while you're out and about between now and March, election day, if you think of anyone, or if you're talking with somebody that expresses an interest, you know, their names can be written in. You know, because,
And then call Little Paper up and say, geez, I'd like to be doing that.
right,
Campaign for themselves.
excuse me, my ear is ringing. I've had emergencies. Nope, it can wait. I'll be on the phone with her forever otherwise. Okay, can anybody think of anything else? Then in that case,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
we have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in
Was that
favor?
27 minutes?
We only had the minutes to do. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Very good.